Hi, good morning, guys. Let's get started. So it's a day 9 of the session. So today we'll be more focusing on the scripting, the automation script, the tab command, the Tableau command, which used to automate the publishing, export, backup, recovery, all those things, right? So we already gone through the whole cycle of development life cycle of Tableau, like how you created the connection, how you gather the requirement, you then create the technical design document. Once you create the technical design document, then you started the development, you connected through, you identify the data source, identify the list of tables used for your dashboard. Then once you identified all those objects, then you started working on the Tableau desktop. And from the Tableau server standpoints, we have just seen like how to create the configuration once it is installed, and then you configure with Microsoft Active Directory, and then you get the single sign-on configuration. Like you do not need to create any native users. You can just use the same Windows login ID credential to access the Tableau server. So there are two options. Either your organization go for Tableau server on premises, or they will purchase it from the hosted service provided by Tableau and cloud. So both way, like it's all like depends on the organization, depends on the budget for the project. They can go for that by looking the future support and maintenance cost. Okay, so people ask the question like when we should go for Tableau public cloud and when we should go for on-premises. So that's all you can say. It all depends on the organization strategy. Are they going to hire somebody to continue the support of the server and application, or they want to maintain the server at the Tableau cloud itself? All right. So but anyway, whatever they do from the server standpoint, but the development standpoint, definitely they need the developer who will be doing those visualization development, right? So the views which has to be created, part of the Tableau dashboarding requirements. So once you identify the data source, went to Tableau desktop, you establish the connection to the Tableau data source, whichever relational data source or multidimensional data source or Excel. So there are different file system it does support. And once you establish the connection, then you use those tables. You can create a data model. So there are different options. You can create a data model in Tableau, or you can create a custom query by joining multiple tables, and then you just bring back those query and paste it as a custom SQL. So there are different options open for you to establish the connection, pull the tables and columns from different tables into the data source. Then one important thing we saw when you go for the data source connection, there are two important options. Either you want to establish the connection live, or you want to establish the connection in the extract mode. That's another question people ask, when you should go for live connection, when you should go for extract mode. So depending on the requirement, depending on the reporting frequency, you need to decide, and how much real-time data business wants to see. That define the way you have to set whether you want to go for live connection or you want to go for extract mode. So when you go for the extract mode, so in the server level, in the settings, you have the options, you have the properties where you can say how frequently your extract should happen in the backend. So every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, every hour, or every like twice a day or something. So you can enable that one time, so that automatically your extract will be get created by Tableau engine, and it will bring you back the data to the Tableau server. And when you report, when you use the visualization, and that time you can look at the data which will be in the extract mode. But if it is a live connection, every time it hits to the backend table, any visualization, any dashboard you look for, the real-time data will come from backend relational table or multidimensional table or from Excel. Okay, so we just need to make sure our requirement is very clear, how frequently business is going to look at the data. So accordingly we define whether it will be extract mode connection or it will be live connection. Second thing on the database side, we saw the filter. So there are two advanced options, like you can apply the filter in the database itself when you create the data model, when you create the data connection, there itself you can apply the filter if you want to control the filtration from the source side itself. So if not, then what you have to do, you have all options to apply filters from your visualization standpoint. Okay, if you know this requirement, all the dashboards, all the worksheets is only for US entity. It's nothing to do with your other entities like APAC or Asia Pacific or Japan or America, Europe or EMEA. So then you are very clear you do not need the transactional data for other entities. So in that way you can improve the performance by applying a filter in the source itself. Okay, so all these dashboards, whatever you are going to build, it's all going to be the US executives. So they are going to use all these dashboards on their iPad or the mobile rollout. So you just need to build all the dashboards in the mobile compatibility mode, and then all for US entity. Then you do not need to care about America, for EMEA or APAC or Japan. So you can exclude those data directly from the source itself when you create the connection. You do not need to bring that data and again apply the filter in the visualization or view creation time. Okay, so that's on the database side. So after that we have seen we created the connection, we pull those data to the desktop, and in the desktop we have the left pane, the menu bar, and then the right pane as well. Right. So there you have all options where you can see the dimensions and measures. Tableau will itself identify what are the dimensions, what are the measures, but you have all options available to move the member.
Are you trying to show the screen? We are not getting it. We are still able to see that training day 9.
Correct. I have not gone to. I'm just recapping what we have covered so far. Okay. So I'm not going for today's training. I will jump into that. But what I'm recapping, if you have missed some of the training, just get a highlights on what we have covered so far. Okay. I don't want to directly jump into the tab command sections. What I'm going from day 1 to day 8, it's a overall highlights I'm giving. I'm just talking through that. Okay. So that's basically from the connection standpoint. So once we established the connection, then we talked about how to create the visualization. So dragging the columns or measures to the rows, columns, page, and filters. Okay, so then we have seen, like, after created a worksheet, we created the dashboard, and we also saw how to publish the dashboard on Tableau Public. So we created a free account, and then we published the dashboard on Tableau Public. Okay, so then you can see that you have all the options where you can control you can delete it, you can download, you can share the link as an email attachment. So everything you can do when you access that on web. Okay, so once you make it public, it's open to all. So that's how Tableau will control it. But if you purchase Tableau Public from Tableau, then you have one account where you can dedicatedly allocate how much storage you want, who are the users need to get access, and all those things. Alright, so whatever we have performed, like publishing or exporting into PDF, or save it as an image, or sending the email notification, all these activities we did manually. But now what Tableau has given the options is tab command. Okay, Tabcmd. Just like DOS command, you have DOS CMD where you can write any kind of DOS operators. Same way Tableau has the Tableau commands. Okay, Now let's move on to today's session. Okay, so tab command, that's a tab admin, yeah, which is in 8 Tableau 8 onwards. So before, like Tableau 6 and 7, we did not have all these options, so we have to do everything manually, manually in the sense after the development is complete, then whoever is the support guy, whoever is supporting Tableau, they publish all the dashboards and workbook or packaged workbook, everything to Tableau server. But now in the 8.x, like 8 onwards, 8.1, 8.2 and 8.3, which came last September 2014, so they are planning again 8.4 maybe in another month or so. So in that side, like Tableau has given these tab admin commands where you can use to publish it, to take the backup, to restore, to move the data packaged workbook from one server to other, to migrate. So all these activities you can just perform. And the good thing is this is Windows based command, so which is very normal to the same command we use in the DOS prompt, similar to that. So you will not find that difficult to understand. And Tableau has a help document where you have each and every command, what parameter you pass for each command, everything is available in Tableau. Alright. So we'll see just what are the tab commands. Will not go into the server because I don't have server installed, or I don't have purchased tab server, but we will see what are the generic used command in the real-time system, and then we will see what operation basically you can perform using the commands. Okay, so tab admin usage and backup restore, that is the most important one we use is for backup and restore. If some disaster recovery or something happened to your server, if you do not have a backup of all your dashboards, then developing again is a nightmare, right? So no one wants to do that. So every time, every company, for each and every application, they do run their backup process, either it's daily or weekly backup or monthly backup or quarterly backup. Okay, so there are different backup standard. So as per the organization policy, it will be automated and the backup will be going to a altogether different server. So if something happens in one state where there is some disaster or earthquake or anything like that, then the data which has backed off in a different state, that can brings back and they can restore the system, right? Then applying the patch. So sometimes what happens is Windows team or networking team or infrastructure team, they apply the Windows patch in the operating system side. Okay, so in that case, so you need to stop and start your services, right? So all this start and stop, you can do that through these tab commands. Nobody wants to go to manually start menu, programs, then Tableau server and start it. So you can just have a batch script and then just schedule it or click that should take care of the start and stop and start. You can also monitor some of the status activities, what's going on the server, how many people are actively connecting to the server, accessing the reports, statistics, stats from the server, so that you can also recommend what can be a showstopper or the road blocker for the performance issues and all. Okay, so to do that, so sometimes the support team keep track of the status of the server, how it is performing, how many reports are used by end users at this point of time, so those kind of things. So yeah, and then we'll see what is the tab commands, and then how you publish the dashboard. I will see what are the command lines to use to publish dashboard using tab command. So whatever we have done yesterday is we went to desktop and then we went to the server and published the dashboard into Tableau Public. But here we'll see what is the command line we use to publish the dashboard into the Tableau Public or Tableau server. Okay. Alright, so this tab admin, they call it tab admin. Tab is for Tableau admin commands. So this tab admin has to be installed in your machine before you started using these commands. Okay, to use these tab commands, so you have to like administrative task and change the Tableau server configuration settings using the Tabadmin command line tool. Okay, so just like you have just go to run prompt and say cmd, same way you can go and say Tabadmin. So if you have Tabadmin installed, then you can use those Tabadmin commands. Okay, so you have 32-bit or 64-bit, whichever machine you have. Accordingly, you have the server installed, and within that will be a bin folder. So within the Tableau, there is a Tableau server, and same way if you have Tableau public, Tableau desktop, all these folders will be there. And within the Tableau server, you will see which version you are. Either you are in 7 or 8 or 9, then you will see that folder. Within that, there is a bin folder. Okay, and to see the list of Tabadmin commands, you can Google it. You will find all A to Z, every Tabadmin commands available by Tableau. Okay, so you will find the list and you will find the help document. But yes, you do have this option where you can say C Tabadmin space help space commands. So it will give you all the list of commands. Okay, so you can find out the list of commands from this help prompt itself. Okay. Okay, so Tabadmin validate. So that's pre-installation validation. So server validation will occur during installation. If there is any validation failure or anything, then automatically server will prevent saying this Tabadmin what you are installing is package is missing or something is not allowed in this server. So that kind of validation happens. So pre-installation server will validate the minimum hardware and software configuration requirements. So what are the minimum requirement you need to install, like what is the disk space, memory or processor. Then it will also validate what is the operating system, which iOS or like or it is a Android or it is you are installing in a Windows base, so or Unix base. So it depending on the support matrix, depending on the compatibility, then Tableau server pre-validation happens during the installation itself. So if you are installing something in Unix and Tableau does not support it in Unix, so that means it will say the operating system is not compatible. Okay, just like any other software you install, and if it is not compatible, if it is not compatible with your hardware infrastructure, then it will throw the error in the pre-installation validation itself. All right. After the installation complete, then it does the configuration. Okay, so server validation will occur after configuration changes are made, either through tab server configuration or through Tabadmin. Server will warn the user for the error found. Okay, so that's basic stuff. So there's nothing to do with this. These are the general phenomena when you install and configure any product, not only Tableau, any even Office product or any other product you install. So it will alert you what are the errors and what are the possible causes why these kind of errors. So all these things. And sometimes the admin account who logged into the server to install, there should be administrator in the server. Otherwise, you do not have permission to certain Java files or some other files. So in that case also it fails. So make sure you use a super user or admin account to the server before you start installing anything. Alright. Alright, so here if you see that, so these are the like Tabadmin commands. So you will find everything in Google itself. When you search Tabadmin commands, then it will give you a list of Tabadmin commands. So these are all lists provided by Tableau, but just see which are very important. So Tabadmin administrator, so that is something which will grant and revoke administrator capability to a user. So suppose you want to control the user security, okay, so you can do that through web. You have that option as well, and you can also do that through Tabadmin commands. Okay, so then you want to suppose auto start, which will you want automatically the Tableau server should start when your server has been rebooted. Okay, so you can say tabadmin space auto start. So okay, then it will you want tabadmin backup, create a backup of Tableau server data and configuration. Okay, so these are all what we're talking is server level configurations, backups, clean off, all these information. Or you want to see the statistics, or you want to say activate. So suppose you are having a license for 3 years and your license has expired today and you want to reactivate it for again another 3 years. Okay, so you do not need to make another reinstallation. So what you can do, tab admin activate, so it will ask you for the activation code, enter that code and it will again activate for the again next 3 years. So that's how they control their licensing, right? Otherwise you will get the license for 3 years, you use it forever. So what Tableau does, they have some configuration file where they have encrypted the passcode, and you will not know where is it in the server side, but automatically when your license is expired, it will give you a notification before that, and you can just keep extending your product licensing to avoid any kind of issues or outage in the server side. All right. So here the frequently one is customize, set a customization parameter to the specified value. So you just go over it and you will find, and if you want to know a specific command definition and what it does, then you can say help. So tab admin space help, then followed by the command name. So automatically it will give you the help information about it. It's just very much similar to the DOS command. So in DOS also we just write help, so automatically it will give you the help information about that command line argument, right? Alright, so suppose you want to reset the password for administrator or for any user. Some users, suppose they forgot, you created some native users and those users access to your dashboard, and you as part of the support, if you join as a support consultant for Tableau, these are the activities are very much used, because from support standpoint you will be giving some privileges, you are deactivating the user, activating the user, you are maintaining the server statistics, you are resetting the password. So you can say tab admin then password, reset the password for a Tableau server account. Okay, so if you have an account and you access the server, and then that password can be reset. Okay, so these are all tab admin is for support consultants who work for the server side, for supporting, maintaining the application, and automating all the backup, restore, all those process. They use tab admin functionalities. All right. Okay, so there are others as well, like this tab admin reset, restart, restore. So you can do that, and if you have some parameters like you want to change the extract frequency, so you want to change the extract frequency or the time the extract should get refreshed. So you can set those parameters in the configuration, right? So tab admin set command will take care of that, specific values or default values. Okay, so start server, tab admin start, status of the server, you can say tab admin status. So that will pull all the reports. Many times in the during quarter close, month close, where lots of users looking at the dashboards, lots of business functionalities or business units are looking at the various dashboards. So server sometimes performs really slow. So you need to see the statistics, keep monitoring the statistics, so that you can make a presentation to the top management saying why server is performing low during the month end, whereas it is working absolutely fine during other days of the month, because number of users connection is this, whereas last week the number of connection was this much. So all this usage information you can track by tab admin status. Okay, so stop is for stopping, and yeah, I think those are the very frequent. Yeah, there is another one, tab admin zip log. So sometimes what we do, we'll see the tab command where we have the email option. Okay, so what happens is every company, they do maintain a distribution list for all their support folks. So in Outlook, they create one group, and in that group they add all the support guys, and they always get notification on server related job failed, backup failed, or the load failed, something like that, right? So what they do is sometimes they ask like attach the log file into the email notification. So those notification email will bring the log file, and if your log file is really huge, you can zip it and you can send it. So that's a command tabadmin zip logs, so automatically zip the log file. So you just tell them the log file name, so it will zip it, and after that you use the tab command to send the email. Okay, so that's basically from the tab admin standpoint. Okay. So here you will be just going to your command prompt and then you are writing this kind of background query limit. You can set some limit to override the default configuration. So stop the server, for example, to change the default value of the tab admin options. Okay, so background query limit from 70 to 100 seconds, which is the 2 hours default, to 9,000 seconds. Okay, so then you go ahead like tab admin set background dot query limit space 9,000. So automatically it updates the configuration file. So you do not need to manually go there, edit that XML file and then change it. Okay, so in place of doing it, so you can use these command prompts to do that. All right. So backup and restore as with any other system. So backing up is a crucial. So tab admin zip log, you can just have -L, -N, -F. So there are lots of options. So you can just explore it. Go ahead with Google, find it out, just use that. That's it. So but very rarely you will be doing most of the support activities, because many companies, they do not get that kind of issues. So more is on the visualization or the development of Tableau dashboard in the desktop, whereas these are the activities very frequently comes. There is very minimal support needed for the Tableau server side, whereas there are lots of development happens from the dashboard or visualization development standpoint. Okay, so you have safe mode, unsafe mode, backup commands. So you can write the commands where you can take the backups in the safe and unsafe mode. Okay, so here backup command tips: look, -D to the command to automatically add the date. So sometimes what we do is we add a date timestamp to the backup file. So if you're taking a backup, so it's always good to have a date timestamp, so you'll know which day backup it is. Suppose today you made some changes, go live, and till yesterday the code was working fine, but after going live today, after you publish your dashboard again, so something is not working. So immediately to revert back, you can bring your yesterday's backup and restore it, right? So then you fix your issues in your test instance or development instance, and then do the testing and subsequently follow the life cycle to migrate it to production once everything is ready, right? So in that case, what you have to do is you just need to have a date timestamp attached to each and every backups, so you can easily identify which date it belongs to. So -D stands for the date timestamp, to adding a date timestamp. Okay, so you can specify a path. Same way the backup file will be saved in the Tableau server version bin folder, but you can even give your path. Default path is this, but you can certainly give your own path where you want to store the backup. Yeah, that's a good question. So what's the extension of backup file? TSBAK, which is a backup file extension, just like Tableau workbook or TWB, or Tableau packaged workbook, TWBX, or Tableau data source .tds. Same with here something called backup file extension. So TSBAK, so Tableau Server Backup. Okay, so these are the small questions, but many times people ask to check how much you have really seen the server or you have worked on the backend side of it. So TSBAK is the extension of Tableau Backup file. Okay, so it is recommended to copy the backup file to another location, so that also you can do. Recovery, so you same way always you stop, take the backup, start. Same way when you restore, stop, restore the backup and start. Okay, so you see the command, it's easy. So tab admin stop, then tab admin restore and give the backup file name, the path .tsbak. Okay, the backup file what you have taken from your previous step, then now you restore it and then you start the service. Okay, so it's easy, but it's too automated. So most of the company they do that, and so that they cut down the support activities for Tableau server. It's minimal because these are the very basic commands. 2 or 3 lines of commands will take care of your whole backup and restore process. Not like other softwares where it's really big stuff to backup, restore, uh, weekly or daily or monthly, that kind of stuff to handle the disaster recovery. All right, so yeah. Start, stop, restart and status. So this is how it will show you when you run it in the command prompt. So you go to change directory to the bin folder, then you go for tab admin command, then you go status -v. So it will run and it will give you all the information just like this, and you can copy it to uh, a text file or log file, and you can send it for analysis and analyzing. Okay. So a couple of issues I have just highlighted here. So sometimes what happen if your file got corrupted, or if you have some if you are using some uh, incorrect parameters, then it will give you some errors. Otherwise tab admins works really well. So I have seen people having issues because of this corrupt file or passing wrong parameters, your job failed. But apart from that, the commands are very simple. Most frequently used is stop, restore, start, or stop, backup, start, or stop, and then take the log file zip and send an email, and then after that start the service. So those are stop, starting is really easy, and then capturing the statistics of the server as well. All right, so let's get 5 minutes break, and then we'll jump into the tab command. Okay, so there are two things: tab admin and tab command. So tab admin is to automate all this stuff from the server side, and tab command is something which will be used mostly by the front end aspect of it, like how to publish the dashboard, how to create a new user in the server, or how to take a backup from the files, or how to export it into PDF, how to send an email as a link. So those kind of stuff will be done through tab command. So what we have seen is tab admin commands. Here it is tabcmd. So tab commands. Okay, so differentiate between these two. Many times people ask what is the difference between tab admin and tabcmd. So the two command line, but that's more for the server aspect, server side. These are more from the desktop activities, like you build a dashboard, then you publish it, and you export it into PDF, or you save it as a packaged workbook. So those kind of stuff you can do it here in the tab command. Okay, so we'll go over that. Let's take 5 minutes break. We'll come back, and then we'll continue with the tab command. So all right. So now we have already discussed about Tabadmin functionalities, commands. So now this is Tabcmd, so tab command. So this is the command line tool again. It's used to directly interact with the Tableau server. So whatever operation you are performing on Tableau server through Tableau desktop or any other stuff which you are doing manually, that you can automate using tab command. Okay. So Tabadmin is for server, tab command is to interact with the server. So you see that, for example, you have lots of groups. So suppose you created certain groups and you want to give some access as an interactor or as a publisher to that particular group, right? So you can say tab command sync group UG tech support. So UG tech support is a group. Within that group you might be having 5-10 user IDs which are part of that support team. So now you want to give them the permission to become an interactor or a publisher. So you can give that by this command. So licensing as an interactor, and then publisher, you can give that URL, which server, and who is the user. So that user will be added into that group and it will get the access as an interactor or as a publisher. So the same way the tab commands, that also sits in the Tableau server, the version name and the bin folder. So you can find that Tabcmd and then you can sync group. So all this, who is the username and what is the server name, so everything you can do, and these are the password, like connecting to the server, then logging in. All these steps are a very regular one, just like you have the normal DOS commands. Okay, successfully synchronized 46 users in the groups with active directory and 44 new users created. Okay, so that means if any new user added, so it will automatically sync off and it will assign those users access to your Tableau server. Okay, so that's one thing we do, part of the tab command functionalities. So same way, the way you install the Tabadmin, same way you have to install the tabs command, and there is a tab command installer.exe. So once you install it, then only you will able to use that functionality. So once you install, so it will create that all this file inside the bin folder. Then after that you can open the command mode and use the Tabcmd features. Okay, so yesterday during the dashboarding, like dashboard creation, last step what we did was we published the dashboard. So we publish the dashboard on Tableau public. Same way you can publish the dashboard into the Tableau server, but when you publish it on the server, it will ask you for the server name, username, and then password. So all the credential it will ask, and then it will publish your dashboard into the tab server. So same exercise you can do it through this Tabcmd. Okay, so what we do, when as a developer you will be developing some dashboard, you will just save the dashboard into a particular folder. Okay, so after that what it does, so tab command, you can write the automation script so that it will read the file, it will pick the file from that particular path and it will publish it into your server, either it is to your server or to Tableau public. So you can just provide the credential and then automatically it will pick it and publish it there. Alright, so if you look at this, so you have Tabadmin, Tabcmd login, then -s and the URL server name, -s stands for the server URL, and -u is the username, which is admin. Okay, so once you create that, it create the connection session, then you enter the password, it will ask for password, then login succeed. So after the login happens, then only you create this Tabcmd publish. So you see that, so Tabcmd space publish, then you give the path where you have the workbook TWB, either you have the workbook or you have the packaged workbook TWBX. So you can just give the path where you save it, and then automatically tab command will take that file and publish it into the server. Okay, so until and unless you publish it, people who access the server URL, they will not able to see that, right? So manually you do it, or same thing you can automate it. So where you'll be working in the project where you have hundreds of dashboard every day, there are some changes happening manually. If you missed something, then again that will not be available in your production Tableau server URL. So better automate it, and you just don't care about it when it will be published. So you just save it in your specific location where you develop, and then after that automatically when this job runs overnight, it will pick it and publish it in the server itself. So finally it will say file successfully published on the Tableau server at the following location. So it will give you the URL, so you can check and validate if that workbook has been published or not before you communicate to the end users. Before you have a communication to the business user saying, yeah, the code has been migrated, all the dashboard has been published into server, make sure you run it, you test all these URLs saying yes, everything is working fine. Now you can send them. Okay, so here another one which we use very frequently. There are some other commands. I'm not going to touch each and every commands, tab commands, but which are very frequently used in the real-time projects. That's the one which I'm showing here with the code, so that you will get a understanding what this command is all about and how difficult or how simple it is. Okay, so same way this is for extract. So user wants to extract a report to a PDF file. So exporting to PDF is always a frequently asked from business. So even if you create a very good look and feel, the web based reports and dashboards, the visualization is too good, but still there are two things: export to Excel, export to PDF is must. People ask, like whoever is a business user, they'll say, can I export it to PDF, can I export it to Excel, like that. So this is one where you can schedule it. So your report can be exported to PDF and then followed by you can send an email with the attachment. Okay, so here if you look at this, so tab command export server name, which is -s followed by the server name. Okay, and then you give the a dashboard name, which dashboard you want to export. So these are the parameters which we pass part of this tab command. So if you Google it, Tabcmd, you'll find a list of all the commands, and for each command what parameter you need to pass to execute it in the batch script. Okay, so all will be inside the batch script .bat file. So batch file, the DOS file which you create for Windows operating system, the same way you will be creating batch files. So these are all DOS commands. Then you pass username, password, and then it will export it. Okay, requesting this from server and succeeded, and then saved to business dashboard.pdf. So it will take the same dashboard name and it will convert it into PDF. Okay, so that's about PDF. Yeah, this is another one. As I said, this is a very important one, very frequently used. That's called send mail. So you will be having email notification to the support team. You will be having email notification to business users when the report is ready or the PDF is ready to view. So that kind of stuff you can do through these tab commands. Okay, so you log into the tab commands. For example, you said you have report exported to PDF and now you want to send that to some person. So tab command login -s and then give the server name, -u is the username, -p then you give the password. Okay, so once you give all this information, then you get the PDF report. First you get it, then you send the email. So sending email is a little tricky because it does not directly work the way we expect. So we need to use like a boot email.exe. We just need to download this one. This is a freeware. We just need to download in the Tableau server and use that to pass your Exchange server name, and then you use that for Tableau to send the emails. Okay, so there are other scripting languages available. Even you can use the DOS command email, and you can download some freewares available setups, but Tableau does support all those commands, so you can just use that inside the Tableau command batch script, and you send the email. Alright, so this is one FE boot email, So you search for these, download it. And so if some business asks, can I configure the emailing in Tableau, you will say yes. There is some workaround, but we can do it. Okay, so it's not like we cannot do that emailing notification. We can do it. So you just need to search for this one, and then you download that exe and use that exe for sending emails, and from one source to the target. And then you can attachment, you can give the attachment as well, you can give the subject line, and yeah, so you can give the body, and you can give attach. So minus attach is the function, is the parameter where you can give the path where the PDF has been set. So program file, Tableau, Tableau server, all these things. So you can give that progress report.pdf. So minus body is the body of the email, to, from, subject, attachment, and body. So all these parameters will be passed. So automatically this will use to send the email. Okay, so that's very important, and it's very frequently used command, which is tab command, for the emailing the exported reports or the published report PDF view to any end users or to any groups or distribution list. These are very frequently asked questions, so just remember it so that you can able to explain, or you can be able to give some example when we use email notification, that kind of stuff. Alright, so I think that's all about your tab admin, tab command, and so there is nothing for tomorrow's session, but before we go there, let's now move on to the question sections. Okay. Yeah, so here there are different certification for Tableau, so you can go for certification program if you want. If you are comfortable enough, take a certification. It is really good to like have yourself saying, yeah, I'm Tableau desktop certified, so that adds lots of value to your profile. So desktop certification, there are server certification, but there are more on the desktop side. Okay, so server side, it's very minimal, so you can definitely get the certification, which is very easy because there is not much complexity inside it. But from the desktop standpoint, you definitely need practice, know each and every menus, know each and every functionalities, prepare well before you think of writing certifications. It is easy, but as long as you practice, as long as you know each and every functionalities and features, that's really easy. Okay. So then all these are related to certification. So now we'll go to the interview questions. There are several frequently asked questions. So I have collected maybe 20 or 25. So we'll go over that where we'll see like what kind of questions you can expect people ask very frequently during the interview process. All right, so that's all about your Tableau session. Before we jump into the interview questions, any questions, anything, just put it on the chat window so that we can take it there. And let me give just a few highlights on this one. So there is a new thing came recently that is called R script. So R programming language. Okay, so you'll Google it, you'll find lots of stuff here, but people are not yet adopted this programming language. It's a freeware, came with Tableau, that's called R programming. Okay, Reserve programming or something. This is a programming language which is used to customize certain things in Tableau, and you can perform lots of customization. So what is R and what is the benefit of using R? So there is a document here. I'll send it across to you guys through the email. Go over it, and this was not in the previous release, previous version, but it came recently, which is used to do lots of customization to the Tableau core functionalities. Okay, so it's R programming language, that's what they're saying. Tableau integration with R function modules can be used to Tableau for creating a new calculated fields, dynamically invoke R engine. So there are lots of stuff what we do manually in the dashboard, in the visualization creation. You can do that through this one. Okay. So this is the R script. So just go over it. If somebody asks you sometimes in the interview, do you know R script and all, so that's why you just need to have some basic idea what is R script, what it does, how does it work. You may not be working in that programming language at this point of time, but at least you should have some information to tell what it is, how does it work. Okay, so there are script, there are different integer function, string function, boolean function. So whatever operation we are doing in the desktop, so most of the things you can control through this programming language. All right, let me go over the questions. Before that, let me see what question I got. Can we export the workbook or package? Obviously yes. So that is what I said, like when you have the desktop, you exported packaged workbook and you can migrate it to new environment, right? So you are not going to redevelop that in the test or in production. So whatever you develop in your development instance, you can export it, you save it in your local machine, you just copy and paste it in the target machine. That is one way. Or if you want to automate that process, use Tabadmin. You move your file copy just like a file copy. So your TWB file is workbook, TWBX is your work packaged workbook. So export or save as, it's all the way same. So you just take it. It's just like any normal file. You have Word document, Excel file, text file. That's a file with different extension. That's it. You can just take it to any instance, save it. If the Tableau is installed in that machine, automatically it will detect that Tableau file. Okay, but you can export and import. That is what your backup and restore. So everything you can do. So backup will take whole full folder backup, but here you can just take an export of your workbook and packaged workbook, and you can even save as image. You can do that as well. So lots of stuff you can do in this one. All right. Okay, so let's move on here. We'll go over this, and feel free to write some answers, and then I will also add something to that, but it make it more interactive. Okay, so what is Tableau Desktop? Who can tell me what is what is Tableau Desktop? Just tell me one liner, that will be helpful. That is true. It is used for development activities, but when somebody interviewer asks, they want to know what is desktop, right? So they know you are a developer and you are going to use that for development. But yes, so the good answer is it's a visualization. Like it's a desktop is the data visualization tool where you develop the visualization, when you create the view, where you analyze, which will let you analyze the data in a different angle by different viewpoint. Either it is a by chart or by tabular report. So all these things, right? So that's your Tableau Desktop. What is Tableau Reader? What is Tableau Reader, and what is the difference between desktop and reader? Yeah, it's view only. Okay, so remember Tableau Reader is only read only, and once you create a packaged workbook, and if you extract that packaged workbook and you give it to another person, then they will use that packaged workbook to view the data, to review your visualization, add comments, feedbacks, everything, but they cannot edit or they cannot create the visualization. Okay, so that's what you will be developing in your Tableau Desktop. You'll be passing it to any work group or any advanced user who wants to review it. They can have just Tableau Reader. Because why we do that? Because Tableau Desktop is the licensing cost involved, whereas Tableau Reader is free. So you don't need to have multiple license for Tableau Desktop. Suppose you have an organization where you have 100 license or 50 license for Tableau Desktop. So you cannot just give everyone saying install Tableau desktop if you want to view the Tableau dashboard. So it's better to have them Tableau reader as a interactive users. They can just view feedback and review it and add comments, all these things, but they cannot create new dashboards in Tableau reader. Okay, so this is a good question. How does Tableau work? Very frequently asked question. How does Tableau work? If you remember my day 2 slide deck, there is a workflow. Okay, so how did I say how the Tableau work? So that means you have to say exactly that workflow. So Tableau has a 3-tier architecture. It does connect to the source data system, and then it through desktop we build the visualization, and after that we publish the visualization or the dashboard into Tableau server. So in generic, when we talk about how it works, we establish the connection. Then after establishing a connection, we create a data model if needed, or we create a custom SQL, or we also set the data extract mode, whether it is live or extract mode. And after doing that, we start building the visualization, which is a worksheet. And after you create the worksheet visualization view, then we build the dashboard. And after completion of the dashboard, we publish the dashboard in the server. And using that server URL, then as per the securities or access, user will able to view that dashboard in the Tableau server. Alright, so either you publish it in the Tableau server or you publish it in the Tableau public. So you have to be very precisely define that to the interviewer, so that they will feel okay, you know, end-to-end flow. How does it work? Okay, so no one will ask how did you develop that visualization, but they will more interested to know the complete workflow, starting from establishing a connection to developing a worksheet or view or visualization, then subsequently going to building a dashboard and publishing the dashboard in the Tableau server. Alright, so why should you use Tableau? So why not any other reporting tool? So if you remember my first day sessions, why Tableau? So why not any other reporting tool? Yeah, so it's not easy to understand. That is easy to understand from your developer standpoint. Yes, so the visualization is very important. So it's one key is visualization. Second key is low cost, low implementation cost. Third is you can automate end-to-end process, minimizing the support. So there is very minimum support for this product. So and third is that. Then fourth is it's easy navigation. So from end user standpoint, it's easy navigation because it is available through iPad. You can set the mode, like whether you go for iPad mode or you go for laptop or desktop mode. You can make a mobile rollout of all these dashboards, where all the dashboard can be accessed through a mobile app. They can connect through the mobile app and they can access those dashboards. So all these things are really easy in Tableau. That's why we go for Tableau. And the main important one is the performance. Tableau engine, which creates the Beach SQL. So Beach SQL is nothing. It's something similar to your PL SQL or Transact SQL, T SQL, but Beach SQL, visualization structure query language, which is the core of Tableau engine. Okay, so when you create some visualization in the backend, it creates that Beach SQL and it runs. You cannot just exactly copy that and run it in a SQL developer, but it's similar to that, but there are lots of other components involved in that query in the Beach SQL, and that performs really fast in the flat file. Okay, so like people having big data, Hadoop, lots of flat file based engine. Why? Because of the performance. So same way Tableau, when it reads the data from backend database, it creates extracts, bring that flat file to the server, and on top of that flat file it creates your own visualization, whatever you have built. Okay, so it performs really well when it comes to the file based data source. So that's why we use most of the time the extract mode, which will nothing but extract the data out of server, place that as a file in the Tableau server itself, and then it will provide you the visualization in the quick time span. Alright, so here another question, what type of file system Tableau supports? So Excel, so everything is flat file. When you say flat file, TXT is flat file, Excel is flat file, CSV is flat file. So all are flat file. But uh, can you tell me what are the options available when you go to the desktop? If you see connect, so you have only 4 or 5 options available. Like you have data extract. You can use Tableau data extract. That is also a file. So you create one extract from one worksheet, reuse it as a database connection for other dashboard development. And you can use Excel, you can use Access. There are different database it supports. So go here, click here. Always visualize that window, the home page, the landing page of desktop, so that you will get to know what file system it supports. So if somebody doing an impact analysis for an enhancement project, so they ask, I do have the file system in XML, so can Tableau supports that XML file? Yes or no? So that kind of stuff. So you should know that. So in that way, you see here Tableau data extract. So you create an extract from previous dashboard development and you use it here. You have Access database, you have Excel database, you have text file. Okay, so you have import from another workbook. So these are the 5 in file system which Tableau supports. Whereas there are lots of relational database or server based database it supports. So that's from the file system. Okay, so is fact and measure both are same? Is fact and measure both are same? The answer is yes, it is same. Sometimes you might say no, but it's a generic answer, but maximum time it's yes, because fact or data or measure is same, because whatever you are measuring, whatever your KPIs, what are the product metrics, those are all the fact, the data, right? So the fact is the data, measure is a measurement on top of the data. Okay, so you cannot say 100% it's all same. Anything, whatever data is your fact. So from that fact you are identifying what will be your measure. Okay, you have sales, so sales is the fact, but within that sales you are saying I want to see the top 10 product sales. So that means you are giving a measurement to that sales. Okay, so in that way that's measure is little different than the fact. So you can use it example when you try to explain somebody, so that they will understand how fact and measures are related to each other, but they are having little protocol, they are little different than each other. Okay. Okay, so here another question, when do you use horizontal and vertical components? When we use horizontal and vertical components, it was very much on the yesterday's session. There is yeah, one answer is correct. To change, no, what is that answer? Let me see. Yeah, in dashboard, perfect. So it is used in the dashboard to differentiate the visualization. You segregate the whole dashboard either by horizontally or vertically, and then you place your worksheet in the dashboard. Correct. Okay, so this is a very important question. How many type of filters are there in Tableau? This is a very important question. How many type of filters are there in Tableau? No way discrete or continuous. Discrete and continuous is the type how you create a filter. When you create a filter, a date filter or something like that, you can create a discrete or continuous. There is nothing to do with the filter. So if you remember the filter, I always say there is a regular filter, there is a context filter. Okay, there is a regular filter, there is a context filter, and then the third one which we saw is the database level filter. So in create a database connection, you can create a custom SQL filter. Okay, so there is nothing called discrete or continuous here in the filter condition. That is a property for the date type. When you create a calculated field, or if you create a date data type, then you can make a continuous or you can create a discrete. But for the filter, you can set there are three filters. One is traditional filter, one is context filter, and one is custom SQL filter. Traditional filter, which you just drag and drop in the filter section, you apply in the visualization side. Context filter, you give uh, particular context. You create that filter for a particular context for a particular worksheet. So this traditional filter you can apply to all the three worksheet in your dashboard, but your context filter is applied to one particular worksheet in that dashboard for a specific reason, so that it will only apply to that particular context. Sometimes we choose the filter condition like custom SQL filter, like where clause. Where clause is also a filter, right? So whatever you write, that filter will be applied to the data source. So that's your sorry. So all right. So that's your context filter, regular filter, and custom SQL filter. All right. Okay, this is something we have not talked about much, but sometimes people also ask, what is data blending? But we have done that, but we have not talked about it. So what is data blending, and when do you use it? Any idea? Any guess? So it's kind of similar concept. What you are saying is close to that. So when you are trying to pull the data from two different data source, okay, so suppose you have one for operational data and one is having the finance data, and you want to create a dashboard where you want to combine the data between two data source and build your worksheet, right? So the data is joined between two data source with common dimension. So they will have the common dimension. When you connect to a data source, you get the dimension and measures, right? So that should be a common dimension between two data source. So those two data source will be joined by that common dimension, and finally you will be using that for the dashboarding and worksheet development. So that's called data blending. So difference between the regular join what you create versus what you do here in the data blending is little different. So it does not create a row level join. So it does not create row by row, taking a left join, right join, inner join, that kind of join. So it is a kind of what you said. So there are two database will be sitting independent to each other, but when you use that in the result set, you can use the commonality between these two data set by a common dimension. Okay, so okay, here another question: can we use set in a calculated field? when we create a calculated field, uh, can we use set in a calculated field? Correct. So we can create, we can use set. So first you have to create the extract. After that you will get to uh, see that functionality, how you have to create the set in that calculated field. Okay. All right. So how to make quick filter global across worksheet in a workbook. So if you are having a quick filter and you want to make it global across the worksheet in a workbook. There is options. So when you apply that when you build a interactive dashboard, so there is an option to apply all worksheet. Okay, so if you have multiple data source, you have multiple worksheet, then it will show you you can apply that to all worksheet or to specific or selected worksheet. So that kind of thing you can do that through that options. Okay, or the second option is you can use the action script. Through that action menu you can also apply that filter into all the worksheet. Okay, so difference between group and set. Difference between group and set. What is group? So group is the combination of dimension members, right? So you are grouping certain category. So that means those are the members of the dimensions, and you are grouping them and making as a higher level categories or like that. But when it comes to set, so you basically you are creating a calculated field and you are defining say a set of top 10 student. So that's a set, right? So they have a unique properties, but you are with certain condition. By satisfying a certain conditions, you are creating a group that is called set, right? So that is your data value. So sets are basically your custom fields that define your subset of data based on a particular condition, based on some satisfied condition, right? So you said I want a set of products which have sales more than 10,000. So that means you are giving a condition which satisfied by those line items or those product categories. So that becomes a set. Okay. Geocoding, how you use geocoding by maps. So geocoding, it's a geographical mapping. So we do geocoding by keeping a longitude, latitude in columns and rows, and then you have the countries, you have the cities, you have the states. You just drag and drop so that automatically it will create the geo mapping, field map, all these things in the visualization itself. And if it could not able to identify or recognize, Tableau try to or automatically recognize the countries in the geography. So if it does not find some countries in your database with the geographical maps, so it will throw the error and you can correct it. Okay. All right, so yeah, explain the calculation, table calculation. So it's basically what are the table calculation we do? Yeah, let's you guys answer that. So when you create a tabular report, what are the calculation basically we perform as a frequently asked one? Any answers? So in the tabular report, the very frequently one is the row total, column total, and subtotal. Okay. So when you create a tabular report, so we create the rows total, column total, subtotals, and then we do calculate the average, and you calculate the running total and across running total down. So those kind of things we do calculate part of our table calculation. BSQL is a visual query language. Yeah, so that's something people ask, like, what is the query used by Tableau? That's BSQL. So that is used basically for uh, a Tableau backend database. Okay. So question number 15, can we have multiple values selection in parameter? So when you create a parameter, can we have multiple value selection in a parameter? Yes or no? Correct. So there is a range. Okay. So there is a range. There is a value selection. So you can definitely give the step size. You can give minimum, maximum, and there are three different options when you create a parameters. So you can definitely give that kind of selection, so that user will select it. Okay. All right. So what are the challenges we are facing while creating reports or dashboard in Tableau? Yeah, so this is a very practical question. So you can say lots of challenge. The first one, biggest one you can say is uh, about the performance, and because when you have multiple joins between multiple tables and multiple you need to pull lots of columns to your dashboard, sometimes it hits a performance issues. Depending on that, you decide whether you'll go for a live connection, extract mode, or some different way of establishing the connection. And second is formatting. So that's a very important one. So sometimes we have some issues in the formatting. And third one is the screen resolution. So sometimes the report is developed for the desktop mode, but it has been viewed in an iPad or iPod or any other mobile device. Then sometimes what happens is the screen size gets squeezed, and your overlapping happens between the charts and graphs and tabular report. So that's basically part of the formatting, but that's also some issues. And you can give some example, like creating some complex calculations, and creating certain sets or logical parameters, or logical formulas, all those things. So it's a very generic question which you have to have some conversation to keep the answer somehow related to Tableau itself, Tableau development itself. Okay, so what do we do testing in the Tableau? Yeah, so that's another question related to your practical related stuff. What you do when you do development, like you have development, you have what is the software development life cycle. You just need to explain, right? So you go with the different phases of the implementation. You, after requirement gathering, once you get the TDD, then you create you start the development. Part of the development, you do unit testing. Okay, so the question is, what do we do testing in Tableau, right? So, and how is the Tableau testing, and how can we perform it? So basically we prepare the test case, right? So for each and every functional requirement we prepare the test case, and then once we execute those, then we reconcile the data. So you pull the data from backend table and present it in the visualization, right? So part of that testing process, so you have to write backend query, you have to run the data out of it, and same way you have to write the visualization, you have to view the visualization, you export it into Excel, then you reconcile both, so that there should not be any delta. So then you say, okay, whatever data in the backend table is exactly what it is showing in the front end visualization. So that's how you can relate both Tableau backend data versus Tableau visualization data. Okay, so you create lots of test cases, part of each functional requirement, and then you can say we have the unit test report. So part of unit testing, we do prepare a unit test checklist, which will be say the unit test report. Okay, these are the items we have done testing. These are the visualization. This will be this should be in the this number format. This should be in the decimal. That should be 2 decimal place. That should be the what the thousand separator should be there for sales, and profits should be in the percentage. So all these things, those are small functional testing you do. And when it goes to the QA team, they do the load testing, performance testing, and they do the formatting and visualization testing as well. So there are different way of testing. And then the data level, they also do the data testing. So data testing is nothing but you have to do the data extract from backend tables through PL SQL queries, and you have to do the visualization export from the Tableau desktop, and after that you have to reconcile both. It should not give any delta to you. Okay, so that's part of the testing. Okay. Yeah, this one question some people ask, how we can find the Tableau report rendering time. What is report rendering time? So I told once, maybe third or fourth day of the session, what is report rendering time? Any idea, any clues? Report rendering time is the total time taken from the user request to go to the server, execute the query, execute the vSQL, create the extract, then bring back the data and make the visualization, like presentation in the visualization. The total cycle time is called report rendering time. So you just apply a filter, or I just create a connection, and it says reading the data from backend. So that means how much time it took to take your request to the backend server, and then it builds the vSQL, it fires that query on top of the backend table, brings the data back to Tableau server, and then after that it is showing you the data in your visualization. Okay, so the whole time is called report rendering time. It's all, yeah, it's, you can say the whole report processing time, but when you say processing, it may lead to the only query executed in the backend, the processed in the backend, but here in the rendering time is from the request goes from a user and bringing back to the user. The total time is called report rendering time. Okay. So you can say like there might be some networking time as well, right? So if you are accessing the reports from your home or through VPN connection, then you may take more time if somebody is accessing in the office where they have LAN cable connected, right? So the network time is also added into your report rendering time as well. Okay, so this one is a very good question. Difference between quick filter and normal filter. What is the difference between quick filter and normal filter? Who can tell us? So basically quick filter, you can apply it to a single view in a dashboard. You say so quick filter, we just say so quick filter so that it will show the filter, and you can make it as a local to the dashboard or all of the views at once. So you can apply that filter to the global as well. So all the worksheet in that dashboard can use that quick filter. Okay, but there is a menu options. You can convert that quick filter to a normal filter. Okay, so it can apply to a specific worksheet, just like you create a worksheet and you apply a filter, so that will be applied to only that filter itself, that worksheet itself. Okay, how to prepare data for Tableau? So that's again the same. You have to create a connection, you have to uh, bring the columns and tables into the connection from the database, and after that you just use which dimension and measures you want to use in the rows and columns, and you apply the filters, if you want to do a color, or you just drop everything in the colors or text. So depending on your visualization requirement, then you build the data. Okay, so basically if the question is how to prepare the data for Tableau, you can say using Tableau desktop we can prepare the data, we can view the data, we can create the visualization, we can edit the visualization. All these things you can do through Tableau desktop. Okay, the 23 is something related to today's session. How can you schedule the report in Tableau? So explain briefly. So you can say that how you schedule a report and generate a PDF view, or you send an email as a PDF attachment. All these things you can do through tab commands. Okay, so architecture is 3-tier architecture. So you know that we already discussed. What are the different type of connection? So if you look at this, so we have connect live, import all data, and import some data. So different type of connect when you establish the connection. What is ad hoc report in Tableau? So you can create a view on top of your own reports. That is your ad hoc report, right? So you as a developer, you build a report and you have all departments, all entity, all geography, everything. It's a superset. Now I'm a user, I just have only 4 or 5 departments responsibility. So I don't want to see the data for all enterprise wise in my report. So what I can do, I can create my own view on top of your visualization. That's my ad hoc requirement. So that's ad hoc report on top of your standard report. So difference between ad hoc and standard. Standard is you developed it by the standard requirement of the organization. Ad hoc is I am just creating for my own requirement on an ad hoc basis, on demand basis for one particular combination. I'm applying certain filters and creating a subset of that report. That's an ad hoc report. Okay, so it's basically you can say view on top of the main standard reports. Okay. Okay. So there is one add-in also. So I don't have that question here. So maybe again, like when you say somebody how to prepare data in Tableau. So for this question, like there is a add-in option like Excel. You can have that add-in in Excel, and you can just connect to the Tableau database, and you can read the desktop. You can read the dashboards and worksheet as well in Excel. Okay, so that's a add-in which is used for Tableau as well. All right. Alright, so what is ad hoc reports? Then does Tableau public work on Mac? Yes. So it work in iOS, so absolutely fine without any issues. And anyway, Tableau public is hosted service by cloud, so there is nothing to do with the operating system. So you can browse any browser you can use to access Tableau public, so that you can view your published dashboard. Okay. Alright, so name the components in a dashboard. That was the question I was telling yesterday. So these are the components like horizontal, vertical, text, image. So then you can have okay, let me ask that question. What is the next one? I missed this one. So I said horizontal, vertical, text and image. There is one more object you can create in the dashboard. Who can tell me what is that? That's URL. Okay, and if you go here, connect to any data source. Let me cancel it. Go with the dashboard. Okay, so you can web page, you can create a blank, you can have text. So horizontal, vertical, image, web page, blank and text. Okay, so these are the 6 basic objects used in a dashboard. Okay, so yeah, web page is nothing but the URL. Perfect. Excellent. You guys are really doing good. Yeah, that's pretty much on all the questions we have. Any questions from you guys? Anything?
Hi, I'm Indu. I just need a small, because just need a small example for extract and live, where I feel that this might be an important question where they'll ask, like, for just a small example, like when do you use extract and when do you use live?
Okay, so good question. So when we develop something, we just save it to our own desktop, right? So when we develop a workbook, or when we develop a, let's go here. So when you build a packaged workbook and everything, you just go here and you say export the packaged workbook, or you say import the workbook. Okay, so now what we are saying is, once you do that, once your development is done, then you save it, right? So what is extract? So that extract you can do for different things, right? So you can use extract for the database. Okay, so you create a connection to a master database. Now you want to publish this data into a Tableau public. That's where you will create an extract out of that whole master database, and that will be embedded into your packaged workbook. And when you publish it into the Tableau server, so it embed that data source as well as the workbook as well as the dashboard, everything together in that packaged workbook, and publish it. So that's where we create the extract. So that's one way. Second thing is, you create a export of the workbook and you reuse that workbook for another dashboard development. So that's where we create the extract of one dashboard, one packaged workbook, and we reuse that in another dashboard or another workbook. So there are two different things. One is for exporting or extracting the workbook itself, and exporting and extracting the database. When you need the database, when you want to publish the whole packaged workbook and you want to send it to a person who has only Tableau reader, or you want to send it or you want to publish it into the Tableau public server who does not have access to your data source. So that's where we create an extract. Otherwise, you don't need to create an extract of your data source, or you do not need to create an extract of your workbook or packaged workbook. What in generally we do, we create in real time you'll be seeing 100 different dashboard has been built. Each dashboard will be having 10 different worksheet or 20 different worksheet. So some worksheet in one dashboard can be reused for other dashboards worksheet. So what we do, we export that worksheet and then we import the worksheet in the new dashboard. So it's basically a very simple export import feature. Whenever you create an extract, it will just give you the extension, whether you want to go for a data source extract, or you create a workbook extract, or you create a package to workbook extract. It's all just file based. You export it, import it, that's it. Does that answer your question, or you expect something else?
Just in case when I explain these two options, if they ask me like what is the best thing you are using so far, or which is the most important thing your day to day you are using, if I say them live is the one which I'll be using, like just to explain them, if I say like we'll be using most of the cases like live data as per, because we do have some process like SDLC process where we have something in our environment. Like, can I answer like that?
Yeah, so that is a different question. So that question what you are answering is the connection type. When you establish a connection to data source, when you want to use live connection, and when you want to extract mode, that is two different things. But what I was talking is about export or extract the data source and package it and embed it into the package and use that for publishing the data, or to sending it to someone else who is having a reader, a Tableau reader, to read the data. But what second part of it is what you are saying is that is more important. When you establish a live connection to data source, when you go with the extract mode. So that's two things depending on your requirement. So you say some reports where we give the live data, so that's where we use the live connection. but when we do not have any kind of dependency on the reports, it should be okay to view the data once a week. So that dashboard we just have extract mode. So in that extract mode, there is a properties in the server where you can set, let's go here. They will ask like how frequently your extract happens. So in the server, you have the configuration, right? So when you go to configuration to the Tableau server, so if your data source connections which you created and published on the server, and you have already set that connection type is extract mode, not as the live connection, then depending on your server setting, automatically those data extract will be refreshed every 2 hours, every 3 hours, how much time span you will be setting in the Tableau server itself. Okay, by the meantime it comes back. Let's see. Okay, so if you go here, you go to data connection. So there is an option. This is all about your data connection. So in desktop you are saying connect to data. So when you create connect to data, you define a data source, and there you choose whether it will be live connection or it will be extract mode. So when it is extract mode, so you have to set this caching so that it will say, okay, how frequently you want to refresh this. So automatically your cache will be refreshed, and your data extract which happens, that will be stored in the cache. So the performance will be better. The objective of changing the connection type from live and extract is more for the performance. So depending on the reporting requirement, we decide when to go for live connection, when to go for extract mode. So you can say, yes, I have worked on both type of dashboards, where we have certain dashboards which are having live connection, which are certain dashboards having the like headcount report. They don't need a live connection. Every minute you are not hiring people, right? So you don't need to make a live connection to show them, okay, now it was 10 and after 5 hours it will become 20 headcounts. No, it's not like that. So headcount dashboard, HR dashboard, we don't need that to be a live connection. It can go with the extract mode. But when you say it's a sales data or the revenue data or the profit data, that somebody can monitor twice a day, or they can have the live data coming from the source system. All right, so that's the basic difference when you will go for live and when you will go for extract. So but the extract mode always perform better than the live, because live is always going to hit the data in the backend table and bring you back every time you look at the data. But extract is something which Tableau pull the data, hold it in the Tableau server in the cache memory, and when you view it, it brings you back the data, which is much faster than the live connection. All right. Any other questions? Anyone? Good. So there will be no session tomorrow. So we are all done through the training. Any questions, anything, feel free to send an email. So I think I got an email from you. I hope you got your answer on the question you asked for mobile rollout. So it's nothing but just developing all the dashboards in the mobile compatibility mode, so that when you have that mobile app, they can use that access your just the way you are accessing the browser. They can access through the app, and they can view all the dashboards. Mobile rollout is nothing but making all the dashboard mobile compatibility. So mobile compatibility is more important for the screen. So your laptop and desktop screens are bigger, mobile screens are smaller. So if your dashboards are built in that size, then it will be fit into the mobile screen. Otherwise it will overlap with each other. So formatting and all issues comes in if the dashboards are not built in such a way to be mobile compatible. Apart from that, there is nothing different in the mobile rollout. Just the wording says mobile rollout, don't be panic. It's a very simple development. And in the dashboard, you saw that yesterday, there is an option where you can say portrait mode or different iPad, iPod, or exact size you can give. All those options are available. All right, guys. So all the best. Let me know. You feel free to ask questions, send emails. I'll be happy to help you out, and we'll be in touch. All right. Thank you.